Hey, do you have impulse control or do you have impulse problems? Impulse control is another executive functioning skill. It is about not reacting to negative triggers right away and thinking about it a little bit longer so that you act in a way that matches your values and matches your intentions. If you are impulsive, you may act in a way that doesn't match your intentions and actually hurts relationships or hurts opportunities for yourself. Did you ever get a text that triggered you, that upset you? You were like, what? And you just fire off a response. And that response is a little negative. And then come to find out you had misunderstood something or you didn't understand the context, or they might have even had an autocorrect and it might not have upset you if you understood the text the way it was sent. Did you ever do that? Sometimes you could make up for it and say, hey, I misunderstood, and it's all cool with your friend. And sometimes it's too much and it hurts relationships. And that's what we want to prevent when we're getting our impulse control under control, is we're not doing those knee-jerk responses that could hurt relationships. Having more impulse control is when you have a negative emotion come up, when something happens and it triggers a negative emotion, you are careful about how you react to that situation. You don't act impulsively, you act intentionally, purposefully, thoughtfully. That would be the opposite. So impulse control means you're thoughtful and purposeful and intentional. And to get your impulse under control, this is what you do. You want to give yourself some time. Same as when you're controlling your emotional regulation, when you're controlling your emotions, these are very deeply connected. You want to give yourself some time. So you might have to excuse yourself. You might have to take a moment and take a step back from the situation. You might have to wait before you text back. Sometimes you might have to wait a day. That could be really helpful. I have had tons of emails that I've read and got really upset over. And when I read them the next day or the next week, they don't trigger me the same way. And that is a good testimony for waiting, because I might be in a different state that day. I read it differently. I read the energy of the email totally differently if it was a different day. And so I don't want to misread something and have this impulsive reaction to something and make a fool of myself or embarrass myself or look unprofessional in situations where I'll have people not want to work with me anymore. That would be horrible. Plus, I never want to do something or say something or act in a way that hurts somebody else. That's why this is important. It's about keeping relationships, keeping opportunities, keeping whatever connections that you have, keeping them sacred. So, impulse control. So, when you have time, this is what you're going to do with the time that you have. First, you might have heard this before if you watch a lot of my videos. The first thing you do is have compassion for yourself. If you don't have compassion and give yourself some validation, it's hard to not be so attached that you're in defense mode or you're in victimhood mentality. You need to give yourself that validation, and you do it through self-compassion. Self-compassion has so much mystery around it, but it is the simplest thing that you could do. Anything you feel. So any reaction after something happens, any reaction that you have, you say, that makes sense. That makes sense. I understand why I feel that way. That would be weird if I didn't feel upset about that, right? It is. It's true. It's true. So you could say that to yourself. But immediately, it helps you calm down. It makes you feel a little bit validated, and that calms your emotions down. And then you're able to do step 2, which is take a step back. You're zooming out from the situation so you could see it from a big angle view. You see all the players, why they do what they do. You're really away from the emotions of the event, and that helps you get a perspective that you wouldn't have when you're too close to the emotions, when you're overwhelmed and your nervous system is very triggered. It's hard to see all the players and what's behind what they're doing if you're so caught up in your emotions. So after that, once you have that perspective and you really understand everything, you've already given yourself compassion, then you can decide what to do. And when you're taking that action that you're deciding to take intentionally, it's always going to be the action for the highest good. Well, mostly, unless you have ulterior motives and you have like an evil intention there. If you don't have an evil intention and you really want to save those connections and you want to get control of your impulses, then you would act in a way that's for this relationship, for your and for the other people's highest Good. That might mean you're setting limits. Watch this video on how to do that. And if you want to know more about executive functioning skills, watch this playlist.